Good day. Thank you for coming to visit me in my beautiful farm. This is my cabin. This is where I live, and I'm living in the beautiful Patapsco River Valley in Maryland. And my name is Sarah Evans, and I have been here since I was about 18 years old. And as you can see now, I'm an old woman, but I came when I was 18, and you may be able to tell from the way I'm talking to you that I come from a different country because of my accent. So I was born and brought up in a country far away across the ocean called England, and I worked on a farm in England as well. And what happened was that I was working on the farm, and a group of men came round, and they were looking for young people to get on a ship to take them all the way across the ocean to the English colony called Maryland, in what they thought was a brand new land that they'd discovered. And they wanted all these young people to help them on their tobacco farms. They wanted young, strong people who could work growing and helping with the tobacco growing. So I agreed that I would go along. So we were all loaded up into a wagon. We were taken to a big city called Bristol. And we were put on a ship, and we came all the way across the ocean. It took us weeks to get here, and the living conditions were just awful. But we managed it. We didn't get drowned by any storms or anything. So we arrived here. When I arrived at the port, the Maryland port that's called Annapolis, there was a landowner there who was looking for young people just like me to help him on his tobacco farm. So what he did was he bought my labor for 5 years, which he then paid to the captain on the ship who brought me over, who paid my living expenses while I was on the ship. So I had to work for this landowner for 5 years for no pay, which I did. And 5 years later, I was let go, and I was given some money, like my wages, and I was given some seed corn if I wanted to start a small farm of my own. And that's exactly what I did. And I met a nice man that's called William, and William and I got married. So now my name is Sarah Evans. And we had 4 children, me. And I'm going to take you inside the cabin now, and I'm going to show you a few things about how we live our everyday life. Here we are now inside my cabin, and I'm going to explain a few things. So my life, I get up very early in the morning at dawn, and how do I know when it's dawn? See, we don't have a clock, and I understand that you all have devices that give you the time. Well, the rooster will crow and the sun will come up. So that's how I know when it's time to get up. I go out and I milk the cow, get the milk for us to drink, and I feed these little farm animals like chickens. And then I come back and I prepare a meal. So my children also, now the girls, when they were younger, about your age, now they're grown up now, they have families of their own. But when they were your age, the girls would help me, the taller girls, about my height, they would go and fetch water. Because in your houses now, and I understand that the year for you is 2020, you have something magic that comes out of your walls. You have water. We don't, and I understand that it's pipes. Water is brought through pipes, and you just turn like a little knob and water comes out, and you have water for bathing and for cooking. Well, we don't have water inside our cabin. So when we need water, so we need water for cooking, we need water for bathing, we have to go and fetch it. And the way we fetch is myself, or the girls, the big girls, they put this on over their shoulders. Now this is called a yoke, and these are the buckets, small buckets for the younger children who are fetching water, and then there are bigger sized buckets for bigger people to fetch it. So we have to walk to the stream, backwards, all the way down to the stream, or we can go to the well. We can also have rain in what we call a rain barrel. So rain, when it rains, the rain comes down the roof and it's collected in the big barrel. So this is where we get our water from. So as you can imagine, it's very tiring because these are heavy when they've got water in them. So because we don't have water in our houses like you do, we don't have a special room that you have that's called a bathroom, where you have something that's called a toilet. So we have no running water in here. This is it. And there's 6 people living in this cabin. It's an awful lot of people in here. So we have to go outside to go to the bathroom, what you call going to the bathroom. In the woods, or we might have an outhouse that's a small shed. There's a small shed with like a plank, like one of these planks, with a hole cut in the middle where we sit down and we do whatever we have to do, and there's a big pit dug in the earth and that. Or if it's at night and we're sleeping and we have to get up and we have to do what's necessary, we open the door, but the snow is falling down and we can hear the owls hooting and wolves howling. We don't want to go out there, it's scary. So under our beds we have like a big pot called a chamber pot, and we sit on the pot and do whatever we have to do, cover it with a piece of fabric, put it back under the bed, and the next morning we toss it out in the bushes. So that's what you do when you don't have a toilet. So in your houses, you have something in your houses now that heats your food or cooks your food. You have like big boxes that have like a cord and something that's plugged into the wall, and you just, with a knob or something, and you press that knob down and they work. And you come in and it's dark at night and you have like a little switch, a little box on the wall, and you just press it down and you have light. It's like magic. And that is called electricity. We have not found out about electricity yet. So I'll tell you about how we keep things lit in a minute. But first of all, so we have to cook. We cook on this open fire. So we cut down tree branches and we set them alight, and the smoke and flames are going up the chimney. So we have this really useful object, this metal arm that moves in and out. Because if I didn't have that and I wanted to stir my food, what's going to happen to me? I'm going to burn up. And if I just put my hand on it, I'm going to burn my hand as well, because that metal has been over the flame. So we have all these useful fire tools right here. And we can move it in and out so I don't have to burn my hand. So we have make a lot of simple one-pot meals, like soup or stew. And so let me think, what am I going to put in my soup or stew? I can put vegetables in, and I grow vegetables outside in my own garden. I put water in it, so we have the buckets, we have water from the buckets in there. I have herbs in the garden to make it taste good. But then if I want some meat, where am I going to get meat from? So this is a farm, so we have farm animals. If we have a pig, we can have bacon, we can have ham. The cow is too important for us to eat because we need milk from the cow. But we have chickens, or we could go outside in the woods and we can hunt deer, we can get fish in the sea from the river. And so we eat very well. So let's imagine I'm going to make chicken for tonight. So what's the very first thing? Where do I find my chicken? The first thing I have to do, I have to catch that chicken. Because that chicken is not going to come to the front door and knock on the front door and say, here I am, I'm your meal for tonight, right? So I have to catch the chicken. Then I can chop its head off or wring its neck. But then I have to take all those feathers off, and it's still not ready, because inside the chicken, just like in your body, we have kidneys, liver, lungs, intestines. We have to take all those out and wash it clean before we can chop it up into pieces, and then we can stew the chicken, or we can roast the chicken. If you want to roast the chicken, we tie it with twine, which is like a kind of string, and we attach it to this nail, and it gradually cooks in front of the flame. So as you can see, everything takes a long time. My day is very busy. So I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm fetching water. And the girls, if you're tall enough, you to be fetching the water too. You will be feeding the smaller farm animals. You'd have been weeding the garden. And the boys, if you're tall enough, about this height, you would be big enough to get on a horse. So you'd be astride the horse, and you'd be guiding the horse with the reins, and you'd have a wagon behind you to be collecting the crop.